Hello, everybody. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and I hope you are having a wonderful, windy day. This is the week of Gene Key number 43, the gift of insight, the shadow of deafness, and the CD of Epiphany. Richard Rudd says that every human being is born to be a rebel in the sense of filling a space in the world that cannot be duplicated by another. Its programming partner is number 23, The Gift of Simplicity. Let's get into the wisdom story. My wisdom story. I worried a lot as a kid. My mind spun with speculation about the bad things that could happen and how I could avoid them. My more sturdy brothers, teased me for being such an emotional wimp. At school, I was called the brain. I felt different and weird and wanted so badly to fit in, to feel secure and be successful. Ironically, my ability to anticipate problems made me a great programmer. No one could find and fix bugs like I could. Suddenly, it was cool to be a nerd. As a young man, I had wealth and independence. Thrilled I could finally compete with my brothers, I dominated the conversation during family visits, talking endlessly about my success at work, deaf to their contributions. I showed off my latest gadgets, gave unasked for technological advice, and blurted out inappropriate comments about how big my abs were after hiring a personal trainer. I was too busy winning their approval to notice what a pain I was or how deeply I envied their relationship. Then I'd go home and pull out my feel good technology. I'd play video games, watch TV, and surf multiple dating sites at the same time, obsessed with freeing up my time to be more productive. I learned to operate my stereo, TV, computer, car, solar panels, and sauna, all from my phone. But instead of freeing up my time, technology swallowed it whole. The harder I worked to streamline my life, the more complicated it became. I couldn't stop the noise. That's when I had a breakthrough insight. Nothing I did, used, or accumulated would ever make me feel more comfortable in my own skin or like I truly belonged in this world. In one fell swoop, I canceled all my subscriptions and threw my TV and gadgets in the closet, and I got quiet, really quiet. All I did was listen. At first, to the noise in my own head, then to the sounds of my home. Then to the birds in my backyard. Slowly, I brought back technology. First, the music, then the podcast. Touching ones with stories about real people who suffered and prevailed. That's when I received the insight that would change the course of my life. I'd create a radio show for and in honor of the people who felt like me. I'd call it The Outcast. That was just the beginning. My gift to you. I am here to invite out the rebel in you, the poet, the lover, the mad scientist, the revolutionary. There is something only you can do, something your entire life has prepared you for. It is time to take a risk, to shake up a system. You may make waves. That's okay. Whatever you do, stop listening to the status quo. This is not about venting or blaming. This is about being creative and being open to love. You don't have to know where exactly you're headed or why in order to trust your inner voice. As you courageously forge a new pathway, don't be surprised if your timing gets better and breakthrough. Insights come your way. Dare to be who you are, and you will ignite the creative rebel in others wherever you go. All right. I literally had to stop recording just now because the power the power of the moment overcame me. Talk about insight and breakthrough. I did some meditation this morning, and what I experienced, the messages and the signs, and just working with them, coming out of that meditation and continuing to work with them, and it all leading me to delivering this message today. And this message today has so many synchronicities for me that I truly got overwhelmed as I read it and had to just stop and be still with the information because it was so overwhelming, and the connection that I'm having with it, the insights and the breakthrough. This work with the gene keys, it is really, really powerful, and it goes beyond. That's all I could say. It goes beyond words sometimes when you really step into it. I'll continue. Questions for contemplation. What are you worried most about these days? Do you obsess over your worries or drown them out with busyness, outer noise, or your own talking? Do you ever feel misunderstood or like a misfit? How might you need to self protect? Be deafening. Oh, how might your need to self protect be deafening you to others? What might you do differently if you weren't afraid of being different? Have you ever had a deep insight or epiphany? What was it? Track your worry throughout the day. Watch it shape shift. All right, those are some deep and insightful questions and contemplations, right? For us to have and allow the breakthroughs that we need to experience in order to get to our best selves. Um, yeah, it's so beautiful. I do not read these wisdom stories in advance. So whenever I'm reading them, the pause and the excitement, or maybe even the drop or the shock, whatever vibration you might hear in my voice is very real and not practiced. I do will and intend that the energy and the radiance of my heart um, comes through these messages and communications to you. Let's get into the dragons and the unicorns. I am still somewhat overwhelmed by just everything that I'm experiencing today as I bring this message to you. So, the dragons and the unicorns I do go into before once I pull them, and so that I can be taught, and learn. But the unison and the alignment with the gene key, I really do not experience. We experience it together because I do not read the wisdom story in advance. So, whatever beautiful merge it is, it comes out in this moment, right? So, and this week I knew something special was going on. I just knew it because the dragon and the unicorn have the exact same message almost, right? But in a different language, right? The dragon is the source dragon. It attunes you to the infinite, to be still in the silence. Magic can happen. Be in the moment. So this is the source dragon, and it is a ninth dimensional energy that attunes us to the infinite. Its message is to be still, and that in the silence, so much magic can happen. So to be in that moment. And this is the reason why when I did the 11 to 11 message this week, I had to show the gene key cards and the dragon and unicorn cards in the background, because this message is coming from so many different sources, right? Reminding us to be still and what happens in the stillness, right? So this card is pointing out and explaining source energy, and it went into describing that in the center of all galaxies, all dimensions, all universes, there is a point of stillness, pure stillness. That center point, what is in the center of all that exists, is a pure stillness. And that pure stillness in the center of everything that exists is considered the heart of Source, right? And from this center, from this pure stillness, incredible illumination flows. 643 coming in. The card is 4-3, insight, 6, creation, right? And it brings in also the essence of sound. We hear that a lot, right? In the chanting. Even when we do the sound of the chakras. That silence, that sound of the sixth chakra is and then we go into the seventh chakra and we are just silent, right? It speaks of the vibration of creation at the 12th dimensional frequency level. So again, this energy of creation happening at the 12th dimension, the frequency of 12 things coming into unity and vibrating and creating, bringing forth sound. And the card also goes into mention that this flow of Source allows the spreading of will as seeds are planted as thoughts throughout and into the universe. So what we're really tapping into is that connection of source will, divine will, with insight, simplicity, and imagination in that stillness, the incredible illumination. Allowing ourselves to enjoy stillness with awareness through breathing deeply, listening to silence, being diligent, calm, and focused. The gems we can take from this is that the breath, which is the message of the day, if you follow my daily inspirations that I receive, I don't recreate those, I receive them. But I love when it all comes into alignment. That the breath is the key to being in the moment. And that this is where all the magic happens. Just breathe. That the present moment creates your future. That is the same message that came through the 1111 sacred geometry reading, right? The power of presence. This card also says that something very sacred is coming into your life. Either mastery or a long-held dream. So those of you who are guided and called to receive these messages, know that mastery is coming closer and closer to you, or a long-held dream. So that's a beautiful gift of being attuned to these messages. All right? And then we're going to go into the unicorn, because it's the same message. It's number 42. And again, we're remembering to put all of this into the umbrella of Gene Key 43, the gift of insight, the shadow of deafness, and the city of Epiphany. So now we're at oneness, right? And remember, we're in this month of November, Scorpio season, the depth of ourselves, going into the depth of ourselves for insight and epiphany and to experience a breakthrough, to rise on up. 11, 1 to 1, source, simplicity, insight, oneness, creation, number 42, which equals 6. The other number that showed up, right? 6, 4, 3. Oneness, unicorn, number 42. Look for the common humanity. And it reminds us to invoke the Lemurian light. And I'll remind you that we started with the 8-8 portal, that incident in Hawaii, bringing us back to the heart ley lines and the sacral ley lines and the message of aloha, to breathe the air that you breathe. Oneness, the Lemurian light of harmony and love and oneness, right? So as we go into unicorn number 42, unicorn number 42 says, again, to look for common humanity. What brings us together, not what separates us. It reminds us that we are all a part of the divine, that we have individual experiences, but remembering that those individual experiences contribute to the whole of who we are, as well as what we are experiencing, I would add. This card reminds us that our breath, again, I'm Jinky 42, reminding you to be still and to breathe and to listen to silence. The Source Dragon saying to be still in the silence. Magic can happen. Be in the moment. And the oneness, number 42, unicorn saying our breath is a connection to who? Source. For all humans and all animals, what connects us is the breath. I'll just step out of the moment. I had this morning, there is wind blowing all around. And today we were supposed to have rain. We got that forecast. Rain was coming, but instead of water, we got wind. And the water's out there, but it hasn't reached us yet. All we have is breath and spirit flowing through. And I was looking forward to the rain, but then Spirit said, but you got me. Go outside and meditate. And let me tell you something, my meditation today was so profoundly beautiful. I had a breakthrough. I had some insight, and I had some inspiration and an idea that I am going to plant and seed and activate to be broadcasted. This message is that we are all energy seeking to learn. The archetype of this key, Gene Key 43, is the rebel. I love it. The rebel. And it's good for that Scorpio energy. The rebel, the bite that cures you. It's from November 11th to the 17th. So we're in this energy right now. You're in it. And the rebel says, Whatever religion, race, or culture we are experiencing, we are all droplets on our way back to the ocean of love. To be compassionate and to seek the divine thread that connects us all. I'm sorry, not the rebel. The number 42, the unicorn. It reminds us to connect with a stranger. And through our connections with strangers, that our bonds are strengthened. And listen, there's just so much synchronicity, so much. As while I had the experience of having my aromatherapy store, I met so many strangers. And yesterday I connected with one of those strangers who has become a friend, and I've met her family and I've spoken to her sisters and her friends, and but this is what happens when you know that there's oneness amongst so many differences and variety. Our bond has been strengthened. What I took out of the experience of having my own store in a downtown area and interacting with different people from all over the world, that's what I took out of that when I left there. That I connected with so many people that I thought when they walked in the door that they were strangers, but by the time they left, after we laughed and shared and just got to know each other, that we were so much alike. And I was able to experience the beauty of humanity through so many different cultures and colors and races and religions, and just like life experiences. So the Lemurian energy is a high vibrational energy of love, wisdom, light, and healing. All right. So the message of the rebel, and I'm going to end this one with the message of the rebel. The message of the rebel is that insight has to happen in its own way and timing. This allows a greater inner liberation and a wider experience of awareness. So I'll just end with this. Allowance is so important. Allowance of time, allowance of insight, allowance of oneness, allowance of connection. Allow yourself to have these moments of sacred stillness and connect. What I connected to today has changed my life and will change other people's lives. Turn your light on. Be a beacon. Be a rebel. Have some insight. Have some breakthrough. And walk through these epiphanies of life that will get you to your greatest self. Right? Your wildest dreams and imaginations, and connect. I can't say this enough. I can't leave without saying this. Connect to your ancestors. They have gold for you. Collect your gold. Have a beautiful and insightful life. I love you all. Kisses.